Have you chose to live a vegan lifestyle to help increase your exercise performance, to cure a disease or an illness, or just to simply help the environment and increase your vitality? And then years or even months down the road, suddenly you became isolated, fixed on food, totally controlled by it, and you ask yourself, where the heck did my freedom go? And who stole my joy? Marcy here with Out on a Limb, the Journal of the Heart's Journey, where we discuss, unravel, and share the inner realms of the heart and how they influence the reality of our outer world. So if you want to come on this journey with me, click the subscribe button below. I would be so excited for you to come with me on this. So in today's topic, we're going to be talking about orthorexia and what the signs and symptoms are in a vegan lifestyle. And orthorexia, let me define it personally, it's an unhealthy obsession with healthy living. An unhealthy obsession with healthy living. And not every vegan who lives this lifestyle has orthorexia. But if you're watching this and you're like, I'm not obsessed with food, I'm just eating this way because it's healthy for me and this is the way my body thrives. True. But have you ever thought about how it affects your mind and your brain? So that's what we're going to talk about in this video too. Also, I have some great friends who are vegan, and they can rock this without it affecting their mental state. So not everybody who is vegan has orthorexia. And this is coming from my personal story and my personal reality. I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm just me. And I'm happy to share because I feel that it's on my heart to be able to express this to you guys, because I think it's a topic that is not being talked about, and the people that have talked about blow it off like it's nothing, and living a vegan lifestyle is all fine and dandy. Probably true, but I think there's an inner part of our heart that isn't being expressed yet. So, also I have a great friend on Instagram, and she is doing a survey of how social media is affecting and creating orthorexic tendencies in our culture today. So in the description below in this video, I'm going to post her link, and I'm asking you guys to go ahead and take this 5 to 10 minute survey to help out in order to make this awareness, or to make orthorexia an awareness in our culture, because it's a topic that is just going to keep rising up, and we want to be prepared in order to share with other people. So, here we go. The first one is going to be that you have no grace for other foods, and that the vegan lifestyle is the only way to live. It's pretty much, if you had a book, it would be your Bible. So, if you are, let's say, this is a good story for myself. If I was living on an island and everything around me was just like dying and disappearing, or there was an earthquake or something, like a hurricane that would take everything out, if there was no food that was considered on my lifestyle list, I would rather starve, fast, or die. Honestly, it gets that extreme. Or it becomes a fixation that everything else is not good and I can only eat this food. It's a big thing. Start watching people's YouTube channels. It's literally the only thing that they kind of are consumed by, and they make everything deemed as bad that's not vegan. Another example is that you have to be 100% perfect. Have you ever thought about this, that this can be kind of an OCD tendency? Kind of a perfection or control tendency? I do believe that our bodies do thrive in a vegan lifestyle. But if it is not lined up in your mind and your emotions of your heart, it honestly could affect you in the long run without knowing and create more of a disproportion in your thought processes than its actual benefits in the long term. The third one, I would say, would be narrowing food groups. So for me personally, years ago, I started with a whole foods vegan diet. It was awesome. And it's actually currently what I pretty much live today, depending on if I need to let go of certain thought processes in order to heal more. And then over time, I went to isolating more foods out of my diet, or to certain foods I isolated to, Then I went to a raw food diet for years, and then I went to a fruitarian diet focus, where slowly but surely I kept on titrating forward to more of an extreme. And that was a part of my OCD tendency, because if I would have thought about OCD, I would have thought, no, that's just literally just for people who have to keep their room really clean. But I really believe it's just a control factor, and that's really hard to let go of unless you realize what's going on. So basically, a titration to more isolated food groups is the next one, or was the one. The next one is that you bring your own food to everything, or to potlucks, to picnics, to your parents' house, because you need to know that it's something that you can eat, because you don't trust anything else. I remember literally sometimes just not eating with my family, which was really sad actually. And also just bringing my own food because I didn't trust what they were putting in it. Was it organically raised? Did it have chemicals? Was it fried, or was it in olive oil or coconut oil? Can I even have oil right now? It just was like, just consumed my mind, that I couldn't just go to a place and eat with people and just have fun and just relax and just give myself a moment to be there instead of trying to figure out what I'm gonna eat. The next one is going to be, you have to know the menu ahead of time wherever you eat. Friends would ask me out to eat, and I would literally, if they wouldn't ask me where I could eat and they said we're gonna go to this place, I would go ahead days, or if not hours before, and search out their whole menu. I would find a salad that I could add extra guac on, or extra pico de gallo, something like that, and I would literally even sometimes bring my own dressings. I know, you're looking at me saying, Marcy, that's not that weird. Of course we have to do that, because there's just not options for vegans. Yeah, there's not really as many options for vegans, but there's more options nowadays. But that's not the point. The point is, can you just let go? Can you just trust that it's okay for one time, maybe a month, one time a week, that you can have some chips and salsa that maybe aren't perfectly healthy and just receive? I don't think we understand that when we let me go to the next one. You have a good and bad food list that controls your life. So for instance, with this thought process of just having some chips and salsa, I used to think those chips are deep fried and I can't have them. And so sometimes I just sit with family and feel like an isolated bum. It was so not fun at all. At all. And when I think about it now, I could have just ordered some chips and salsa and just enjoyed the time with my family and not been so focused on food. The next one is, you have an increased obsession with your social media revolving around healthy food living. So, do you ever see the ones on like Instagram, for instance, when you scroll through, it's all about food. It's all about how they're healing themselves, which kudos to them. That's flippin' awesome. I really believe in food being medicine, for sure. But when you are catching yourself that those are the people that you're following, or those are the blogs that you're reading all the time, you're literally telling your brain, this is what we're focusing on, this is what we're focusing on, this is what we're focusing on. And within 21 days, you create a habit where you're then automatically, without even thinking, gonna go down that route to choose that social media platform to be following or to be reading all these blogs and so forth. So you literally start creating a neural pathway in your brain saying, this is what I'm choosing. Okay guys, so the next one is you read every food label. So this doesn't usually happen in a whole foods vegan diet, but where you literally, the first thing you think of is, I need to check that label because I need to see what's in it because it might not be healthy for me. I don't promote eating junk food. When you're healing from orthorexia, there might be a time where you're gonna do that for a while. I know I'm walking through that right now on the kind of the end tail of it. But the point about it is where you're just thinking about that all the time. Before even like desiring the food, it's more of what's in it and I need to find out if it's good for me or not. Because if it's not, there's no way in the world would I ever have it. The next one is you have severe emotional turmoil once you fall off the wagon or you eat a food that's bad for you. So that can be like something like distress, anxiety, disgust, negative self-talk towards yourself. So like, for instance, when I used to fall into eating, like I got so extreme one time that I remember I wanted hummus so bad, but it was a cooked food. And I went and binged on one of those big Sabra hummuses from like Costco. And afterwards I felt bloated and horrible and ugly. And I just kept telling myself like, Marcy, how could you do that? That's not good for you. That's gonna stop your detoxing process. You are just going to get fat. Like all of these crazy things that would come into my brain and would just go telling me lies. And I had to stop and be like, what? Is this really true? And so I would just shame myself and I would have a ton of guilt. So how it affects your emotions is basically the point of it. When it causes anxiety about food, it's just not worth it. You might have to stop and rethink why you're doing something or why you're living this lifestyle or what you might need to change. The next one is that you have negative body image and you are never good enough. So personally, how I got into healthy living was because I hated my body. And that's a whole nother video. Check through the playlist because I will definitely be doing one of those. And if it's not up already, just check it out. But I literally changed my lifestyle of eating and exercising so I would be thin according to what was beautiful in our society. And I literally, during my healing time right now, have had to purposefully almost gain weight so I can learn how to love myself for any size that I am. And so orthorexia is not specifically that you like hate yourself, but it's an underlying thing of unworthiness. And that you don't think that you're beautiful and awesome just the way that you are. And so that can kind of push and make that mindset happen if you think that way about yourself. Drastic weight loss. So if you want to, I'm gonna post a picture, basically. If I can find a picture of myself, I would go literally and drop like 30 pounds in 2 months. Because I would go on these crazy fasts, or I would go on these crazy exercise routines, or I would only eat this for a while. And literally my family came up to me one day and they're like, Marcy, we love you, but you're getting really thin. It looks actually really unhealthy. And I would say, oh, actually, I'm just doing this to heal. Like I need to get really skinny in order to like detox, or I need to, like this is just what happens when you eat healthy. And I started to see myself that the skinnier I got, the more that I needed to be skinnier, which basically once you get down to skin and bones, it's not healthy whatsoever. So, yeah, so I'll post a picture if I can find one. I'm not one to show like skin and all these things, just because I don't believe in needing to do that. And also I think it can create this image for other people that they don't need to have, because they're like, the more that we compare ourselves to other people on social media, and that's just not needed. Almost done here. The next one is, you constantly think that if you eat this food, it's gonna make you sick or give you a disease. You guys, this one's controlled my life a ton when I started getting into fasting and raw food living, because the whole culture around it is meat is horrible for you and it's gonna kill you. And also, this is what made you sick, because I was sick, and that's why I started eating this way. So just thinking about when you start thinking that certain foods are gonna make you sick, which maybe certain foods aren't the healthiest for you, you are doing this out of fear rather than out of love. And eating a vegan diet because you love yourself and because you want to take care of yourself and you just want to feel better is awesome. But when you start creating food that you deem as bad, and you see it in like a grocery store, you literally are creating fear in your mind. And so guys, I have met people that have ate a crappy diet, processed foods, never caring about their health, and they're living a really healthy life. It's almost like a miracle. But then I think maybe it's just what they think. Maybe they think this food isn't bad for them. I don't know. I'm just stirring up questions about this, because I think when you get so scared of certain foods because it's gonna hurt you, you're not doing yourself any good. The last one is that you judge others for what they eat. You're not the judge. You are not the judge of anyone else, and not the food patrol or the dog watch of what somebody else is eating. I used to eat with other people, and I would have my own special little meal, right? Like my bowl of watermelon, and I would look at what somebody else was eating around me, and I would think, that's just gonna hurt them. Why would they eat that way? Do they not get it? And I started creating distance in my relationship with people because they could feel that I was judging them and that I thought I knew better. And guys, eat a certain way because that's what you believe, but do not judge another. We're not meant to play God. Only God judges somebody's heart. You can't read their heart, and you don't know what their story is. So, I've just been reading Romans 8 a lot. If you haven't, and you want to start kind of stirring up the questions of why you eat this way, it's amazing. And I'm just going to open it up, and it says, except the one's faith who is weak, without quarreling or disputing the matter. One person's faith allows them to eat anything, but another whose faith is weak will not eat certain things. And in this case, it says vegetables, which that's a whole nother context that we don't really need to get into. But like, guys, if you believe that you should eat this way, eat it with faith and your whole heart. And ask your heart, like, heart, what do I want to eat? Is this for me right now? Rather than, this is what's going to save my life, and this is the next thing to do, and this is what makes me really healthy. And like, is it sustainable in your mind? Is this a thought process that you can keep doing in balance that will create goodness for you in the long run? Because for me, over 4 or 5, I've been vegan for 8 years, and it didn't create fruit in my mind or in my body. Actually, I found myself sicker and sicker and sicker, and I had to stop and change my mindset. And I still eat a vegan lifestyle today because I think it's awesome. Will I eat it tomorrow? I don't know. Every day is different, but will you be open in your heart to ask God what He has for you today? And each day is new. So, personally, like I said, I don't believe you have to be a vegan to be healthy, but just know why you're doing it, and just to give a reason for the hope that you have. So, question of the day is, write and comment ways that you have maybe struggled with orthorexia. Something maybe that I haven't said, or if there's one of these that you've really struggled with, comment below. Or share with me that you don't agree with this. like it or dislike it. This is a community to come together and to share and to be a part of something, because there's not a lot of talk of this, like I said, and I want to create awareness within this topic. So I'm excited. Thanks for watching this. And so I'm just gonna leave you with this. Kind of my slogan that's coming to my heart is take care, and until next time, guard your heart, because from it flows your life.